In his second year as Sioux Falls head coach, he won a national championship.
Wow.
In his second year as the Washington Huskies head coach, he took them to the national championship.
Damn.
And now he's being tasked with following in Nick Saban's footsteps as the head coach at the University of Alabama. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program, Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, Coach!
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. 2 quarter zips. Love what you're up to. You know what I mean? I love what you got going on down there. You look amazing. Where are we? We're recruiting right now?
We're on the road. Yeah, pulling over to the side here to spend some time with you. So it's a great day.
Well, I appreciate you doing that for us, and obviously we'll let you get back to work as soon as possible, but I have some questions for you. Coach, all we're hearing is about everybody that's leaving your program right now, Alabama. But there's like 100-some guys on scholarship, right? How come nobody's talking about who has stayed around? And do you have an opportunity to know all these guys that have already stuck around? And did you talk to the guys that left? How do you kind of feel about where the roster is right now at Alabama?
Yeah, I think in a short amount of time, I think our staff's done an amazing job just really getting to know these guys. And you know, I think there's 28 or so guys that I think when you look at it from a whole piece have entered the portal, but really about 18 to 20 of those guys were gone before we even had a chance to be here. So,
okay.
You know, there's a few other guys that I think were just kind of holding on and had other places to go. So, you know, maybe there's 6 to 8 guys, maybe tops, that have entered. So I think our staff's done a phenomenal job. As I said, most of those guys were gone before we even had a chance. And so it's just the time and way of college athletics, and especially college football. Certainly understand that, but we've had a chance to get around our guys, and I think they're really starting to feel the vibe and feel what we're going to become. Excited about this journey with them.
I'm excited for them to get to experience you as a coach, because obviously I got to for like a day and a half up there in Washington. Your players all loved you. The vibes were immaculate. It was a professional outfit. That's why I thought you were the perfect guy to follow Nick Saban in this impossible task of taking over the Alabama head coaching position. And whenever you say like 8 guys and 28 altogether, most beforehand 8 guys, how many guys are still there on scholarship out of the whole? Because I don't know the exact numbers. What is the number?
Yeah, I mean, the number I'm working with, you know, is what we're going to be this fall, you know, and we still have a few to work with, but it's not that far off. You know, we're within.
Yeah, but what is that
6,
number?
7.
Is that like 30, 40, like 20, 30? What is the number of people that stay? Because my point is, all anybody talks about is Alabama being the number 1 recruited class all the time in the amount of 5 stars. And then people are like, well, 18 guys left. It's like, well, there's still 55 stars. Like, there's still, right? Isn't that kind of, this is the most amount of talent you've ever had, I assume, whenever you walk into a locker room.
No question. And what's really cool is these guys are, you know, they're the heart and soul. They're the ones that are going to bring this whole thing to life. And, you know, the guys who are with us right now, they have just like, you know, sunk their teeth in another level. They're hard at it with the workouts. It's going extremely well. You know, checking in with Coach Blue, our strength coach, he's just got them rolling. And, you know, for them, there was a little bit of time where there was some uncertainty, and I think we've really kind of calmed things down and feeling good about the direction and what's going to happen here this spring. But, you know, the core of our team is right here, and they have a chip on their shoulder. You know, they want to win that national championship. They had it right there in their grasp, and these guys are already turned the page and moving on, and excited about what our new staff is going to do, building on what Coach Saban has done for many years here at Alabama.
You both having Michigan end your year is something I assume you could have bonded upon, but with the way it's been happening and covered since you got to Alabama, I assume you have a chip on your shoulder as well, which is a beautiful thing, especially for a guy that is former player, loves ball, coaches the hell out of teams. Like, I think I'm excited to watch the entire Alabama story come together, and you've had immediate success in a couple of different places that you've gone to, and I think that's a tribute to the type of culture you're able to instill quickly and the way guys buy in. Jalen Milroe staying down there is obviously a massive piece, I think, of the puzzle and of the pie, having a quarterback. When you talk to this offense, do you say, hey, boys, I know you didn't get a chance to watch the Pac-12 much last year, but with our offense with Grubb, we had 3 guys averaging over 100 yards a game. We had 2 of the top wide receivers in the entire country, and if McMillan doesn't get hurt, probably 3 of the top wide receivers in the country. Are you selling that? Are you talking to them about that? And what do you think about being able to have SEC talent? No offense to anybody in the Pac-12. I don't mean that. Please don't take it that way. You don't mean any offense either. But having an option to have now SEC-type talent at those weapons, what do you think your offense is going to be able to do down there in Alabama?
Yeah, that's certainly a big piece of, these guys here in the program understanding what we've been. And, we were on national TV a lot, enough for them to see what we were doing and be excited about their roles. You talked about Jalen, you talked about the receiving core, and, these guys are fired up about getting those opportunities within this offense. Dylan Johnson was the leading rusher in the Pac-12, and so, all the skill guys, they're fired up and ready to learn the system and continue to grow. And then, just defensively bringing in Kane Womack, an experienced, head coach from South Alabama who I've worked with before at Indiana. I'm excited about what we're going to do defensively and building on the great tradition of defense and what physical football and good, solid defense is all about.
Now, obviously, everybody has said, including yourself, Nick Saban is able to do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to pop back in, I think he has an office at the stadium. Have you been able to lean on him at all whenever you're visiting these new areas down in the South potentially as an Alabama guy? Has he been a part of any of this process, or how do you think that's going to kind of play out as a man who just decided, to retire after the greatest of all time career being had?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty foolish if I didn't lean on him. Have a door that was open for him to come and see it, and for me to reach out for advice. Have done that quite frequently, especially the first week. And he will be someone I know. I appreciate him having his line open for me at any time. He built this program to the point, and you invest so much in it. I know that he wants nothing more for this other than for this program to continue to build on what he's done, all the work he's put in. He just doesn't want it to go float off into space. He wants it to be great.
Yeah, it's great to hear. We got a chance to chat with him all season, obviously. And as soon as he started doing that, a lot of people were like, he's retiring. There's no way he's doing this and still going. And then I don't think he knew that he was going to do that at the beginning of the season. It kind of all came together. But down in the South, it's different down there. I think I got a chance to experience that with College Game Day. The expectations, especially at Bama, are going to be absurd. Have you had any, it's different down here moments yet on the recruiting trail, or heard anything or read anything?
I think just arriving, you land and you're going to meet the team, and just the reception of fans, being there. That was really neat for me and my family. And, being around the game long enough, I understand there's still a difference in some things that will come with it being here in the SEC. But, it's intensity is what we look for. You come to Alabama to be with the very, very best, to compete at the highest level. And, that's what I, want to do everywhere I've been. And so I'm not going to be shy away from how important winning is. I think that was probably something that was attractive from, Greg Byrne and Alabama towards me. I'm not going to shy away from that, but, we're going to continue to do things with the Alabama standard always in mind, and continue the winning tradition.
Yeah, I heard you say that at the basketball game. The standard was Bama. Mm-hmm. Roll Tide. Big pop out of there. It was good speech. Hey, good speech. Now, I had fallen asleep. I did not get to see that live. I saw it the next morning, Coach, which is something, that kind of
happened. You've done that before with me.
Yeah. And I was wrong. I told you I was wrong. I've told you numerous times I was wrong. I'm sorry, halftime Pac-12 championship. I fell asleep.
Whoops.
Holy hell, Oregon won. And then wake up the next morning, Coach DeBoer and the boys are on game day. I'm like, okay.
No, they didn't.
Way to go. And that's kind of been, your team, though, has always been like that. And we talked to Saban all year. He felt like that locker room was a close one, a tough one. It feels like your teams kind of embody that as well. That's why they're able to withstand the late adversity in multiple games this year, and the final run is the Pac-12. How quickly can you feel if your team is the type of humans that you want? Like, and I assume Alabama's always going to have the type of humans you want, but how quickly can you feel like, okay, we're getting somewhere when it comes to the culture aspect?
Yeah, well, I think you first look at right now, even with the guys that are returning, and just you can feel that closeness that they have, and that's a tribute to the coaching staff, Coach Saban, and everything that they built. It's not just a bunch of really good football players out there that won the SEC championship. It's guys that really believe and came here for a reason. It's continue the legacy, of Alabama football and build on their own. And I truly believe that, because there was so much noise, and there still will be noise outside the program. People who are trying to come in and just put a little doubt in their mind, and they've really, the nucleus of this team and the program is really, these guys have stayed the course, and really hunkered down and ready to go back to work and continue to prove some people right, but also prove some people wrong. And depends on what side of the line you're on. So I think you can feel it pretty quickly. And that's going to be the great challenge. And that's what I love to do, is continue to bring these guys together, bring our staff together, all for a common goal. And so I'm excited about this opportunity, which I know is an ongoing challenge each and every day.
Hey, you and me, pretty fair-skinned. Down in the South, that sun is different, bro.
Careful.
You know what I mean? Let's make sure we get a full.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, we're going to need that. I was down there for 3 hours for my show. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got third-degree burns on my face. It was not a good day for me, Coach. A little different in Washington. Beautiful in Washington.
Beautiful.
But that sun, for some reason, down there in Alabama. And then when they play Dixieland, the light. Oh, place goes ape shit, Coach.
Yeah.
Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, Pat mentioned, with Saban being on the show this year and everyone saying, oh, he's going to retire, like that happened all year. But I think when he actually did retire, everyone was still kind of shocked. Did that kind of shock you as well? And then also, like, when the process of getting the Alabama job, like, it came together pretty quickly. How difficult was that decision? What went into it? And ultimately, you've mentioned everything that goes into, coaching at Alabama. Was it kind of one of those things where it's just, hey, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to one of the best programs in college football and also on the heels of Coach Saban? But how did that kind of all come together so quickly? Because once your name got brought up, it was kind of like, oh, okay, yep, they found their guy, and they're going to do whatever they can to make
for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, I think everyone is surprised. I mean, Coach Saban's just done it for so long and has it rolling. And as I've, I would say the cupboard's not bare with who's here in this program from a player standpoint. He just was relentless every single day. And, when you see someone give everything like they have, you think it's just going to continue on. But I think probably just like you, we're all a little surprised. But when it get the opportunity, and like you said, it happens really quickly. When you invest so much into a program like I did at Washington, and that's the only way you can do it, is just jump all in at a place, whether it's building relationships with the players, the people around the program, the alumni. That's how it has to be done for it to really be successful. It was a hard decision. I felt like there was unfinished business, at Washington, coming up short of winning the national championship, which was our goal. But I also saw this as just an amazing opportunity that just could not pass up on. And to be the head coach at Alabama and, not shying away. I understand the way that it gets perceived with following a legend, but there's been another legend also in this program, and Coach Saban had to follow in his shoes. And so this program was built with great foundation, and I can't wait to continue to build on the great ones that have been here before.
Yeah, and if you're able to do that, I mean, I had an opportunity to watch Andrew Luck, immediately after Peyton. You have to have I don't want to say maturity, because obviously you're a head football coach, you're obviously a mature person, but like the way you have to view things, because if there is something that happens that goes astray, they're going to say, well, Saban would have done this. Saban would have, you're going to have to hear that regardless, though, if you want to be the top coach in college football. So is that your view on it all? Is that kind of the thought, or how do you expect to keep that noise out?
Yeah, I think you just got to be convicted in who you are as a person. You got to believe that, your experiences and, how we do things is going to work and can work anywhere. And I believe that. We'll build a great staff that I know will have great perspective and be able to handle, those things that people throw our ways and trying to bring doubt, that can't be sustained. But you just got to be convicted in who you are. And, I've had success at a lot of places, and I feel it can carry over. A lot of times it's just about simply building around people and the relationships and the X's and O's and things like that. Football is football. And I'm getting to know this part of the country very quickly. Not completely and not familiar with it, but got some people around me that certainly are. And so we're hitting the ground running. I'm excited about it, building all these relationships and making this next season. Not waiting around, not rebuilding, but reloading.
Hell yeah, great way to phrase it too. On that note, Darius has a question for you.
Yeah, speaking on the people around you, Coach, what is that process like, putting that staff together, making those calls? And I know in the NFL, a lot of times, a lot of things stay in place, nutrition, training room, equipment room, those guys stay around forever. What's that like for you, obviously moving on to Alabama?
Yeah, it's so critical, because it trickles down. The vibe and the culture that you want in your program? It starts with your staff, and the players will bring it to life, but they have to have the buy-in and the people, and that we care truly about them. You first and foremost, not just the football aspect of it. So I'd love to take more time, but in the days right now that we're in, mid to late January already, you don't have a lot of time. So fortunately, I got some people that I'm connected with and, feel really good about. And I think we've really done a really good job, building the coaching staff, the off-field staff. Many of the people here have done an awesome job. And so you can't help but look at them and, give them a chance and looking forward to that partnership with them.
Saban thought you were going to? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I guess I'll take it. I guess, it would be dumb not to do that. Don't you? I mean, honestly, I think that's the humility that you have, but also the success and the amount of football that you've coached, that as soon as we heard you were the guy, it was like, this is the right hire. There could have been a lot of other names, and obviously they could have hired within, which I think some people expected, but after getting to know you and the way you operate, it's like, this seems like the only person that can maybe do this. Yep. Now, on that note, whenever you hire from a successful school with a great recruiting class into another school with a great recruiting class, there comes a lot of questions. Go ahead, Con.
Yeah, Coach, you've mentioned there's been a lot on your plate, and clearly you've had to deal with a lot. But when you do kind of take that next job to Alabama, what are your conversations like with the recruits that were going to Washington and the recruits that were going to Bama before knowing that you were the head coach? I assume there's some emotion to it, but also do you have to, sell yourself to a lot of the Bama guys and try and get some of those Washington kids to come with you, or how does that go kind of once you take that job?
Yeah, I mean, first and, foremost, you want to make sure that the guys are committed, that you're understanding, evaluating them. And, I think the biggest recruiting and the best recruiting we've done is still our current roster. There's not really portal guys, because the portal window is closed other than those that have coaching changes. So, we've had to recruit our own roster, and I think we've done a great job of that. In regards to
there's 55 Alabama guys.
That first.
Coach, that is just such a wild thing to think about, because everybody's talking about this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone. But every year during recruiting season, we're like, Alabama's got five deep at every position. And then you watch them jog on the field like we have for these mega casts, and it's like they got 6'5", 4'3", for 45 seconds coming out of the tunnel. That I feel like that's a pretty smart play over there, Coach.
Yeah, this the nucleus and the core is going to be the guys that are here. And I experienced that just 2 years ago. We kept the nucleus and core for the most part together, and that's the heart and soul of your team. And then additions that you get a chance to bring in. I want nothing but the places that I've invested a lot of time in to be successful in the future, and that's Washington, that's Fresno State. Those places are special places to me, and you want to be a part of the legacy looking back that you continue to build on that, and the people after you, they made it even better than when you were there. So as far as a few guys, there were some guys in the portal, and if they're going to go anywhere other than being at Washington, I certainly am going to want to have a chance to have them here because I trust and believe in them, not just as players, but as people. So we've had a few of those situations here in the last week.
Debo, what was his record at Washington?
I believe it was 25-3.
Jeez.
This guy sucks. Yeah. I mean, it is. Coach, I think a lot of the people are just getting to know you, because probably only saw you in the playoffs. I assume that's really the only time they got to see it. Now, Washington was obviously covered this year a lot. Hopefully, everybody feels that way from the Washington people by College Game Day. But the national story hasn't been Washington for like 2 decades or whatever. So I don't think a lot of people have really known the way you go about doing your business and how you win. I'm pumped to see you with SEC resources. Now, SEC, though, potentially does bring some change. Go ahead, AQ.
Yeah, Coach, I loved watching your offense. And by the way, as a former offensive lineman, I loved your group. Having said that, you guys were pretty wide open offense. Down the field, chunk plays, get it down the field. Are you going to be able to run that same style of offense in the SEC, or will that have to change?
Yeah, I think that I certainly think we can. I think the heart and soul of it still is that you have to be physical and your offensive line has to be great. And, our running back, Dylan Johnson, was right at the top of the conference rushing the football. And so when it came down to it, that's who we were, and we believed in it. And with the personnel we have here, there's some amazing running backs in this program. I've seen firsthand, who these guys are. And, the offensive line is always a huge piece of the success and where it all starts. So I think what we've done, you always tweak it here and there to fit your personnel. Ryan Grubb and our offensive staff, they will do exactly that.
You and Grubb been around a long time, I think ever since Sioux Falls. Zito just told me your overall head coaching record is 104-12. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Pretty good.
Jesus.
Get it done.
Is that good?
Oh, my God. All right, well, last question here for you. 126 games coaching. 104 wins. Pretty good. But Sioux Falls doesn't count, obviously.
No.
Because it's vastly different. Even though you're playing with Sioux Falls guys, and you're playing against that, winners win. I think that is literally what everybody says.
Football is football.
Football is football. We're still
Boom.
tackling, blocking, kicking, throwing, running. It's all the same. We're excited to see you now at this level. Not that Washington wasn't, but you get it. SEC at Bama is a big deal. Speaking of, last question here, Coach.
Coach, you talked about learning the South and all the areas around there. One thing, Brian Kelly, when he went to LSU, he immediately adopted a Southern accent. Have you thought about taking a similar approach and just immediately talking with a Southern accent just to help with recruiting down there?
I think that would go wrong for me. I just know who I am, and there's some South Dakota in there, and that's who I am. So we just got to live with that.
Family.
You got me for who I am.
What is that, Canadian, Dakota? Does it sound a little Canadian, or what is it? What is the Dakota?
I think so. It's on the verge of that, I think, once in a while. But, yeah.
Because the top of America, Minnesota,
Yep.
Michigan.
Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Tory.
I assume the Dakotas, there's a little,
Definitely.
hey, don't you know? That
A
type
boat.
Yeah. I don't hear that out of him. It's only a year from now, though.
Yeah, all of
You
it.
can't help it.
A lot
with
of y'alls.
With it being around. Yeah, it's gonna inevitably happen. And hopefully you'll be down there the next 15, 20 years, just like Saban was, doing great things. We appreciate you joining us, Coach. Good luck on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
What state are you in?
Roll Tide.
Are you in the South right now?
I'm in the South.
Is it raining down there? Is that what is going on?
It's raining.
South Florida?
It is definitely raining. So, yeah.
You brought some Seattle to the South. That's great. It's very nice of you. I'm sure.
I wasn't gonna say it. But I was thinking it. So
yeah, it's a home game for you right now with this rain. Hey, I stepped on your Roll Tide. If you want to give another one.
Roll Tide.
Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Hey, Coach.